So today on the show, we're going to be talking about kit rooms and moving into freelance. We're going to be talking about the freelance world and what you should have on your belt. That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it was really good.
The Tungsten Show. Hi guys,
Hi.
Welcome to episode 4 of the Tungsten Show.
Welcome again. Thank you for listening and thank you for coming back.
We've got a guest on today.
We've got a guest.
Would you like to introduce the guest?
Yeah, a very special guest. Today's guest is from kitroom background, so we talked about kitroom in our episode 2. So now we got somebody actually from it, and now we'll be able to talk a bit more broadly about the experience working in a kitroom. So welcome Axel Morin here.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. It's good to have you.
Yeah, so Axel, tell us a little bit about your background. Where are you from?
Well, originally from France.
Yeah.
Came to England about 6 years ago now. Work on set in France for quite a bit, Paris, Marseille. And here started to work a bit on set and wanted to expand my knowledge, learn all the technicalities in English and be able to work on bigger set in fluent English. So, thought about kitroom. Went into a really small company in South London to work half camera, half lighting. And from there, just moved to a company that you both know, Pixie. Just working full-time lighting and stay there for just over 3 years. And just now, as of January, back to freelance life, back on set.
Exciting.
There you go. So how long have you worked in totally for kitrooms?
Kitroom about 4 years. About 4 years. So roughly a year down in South London where I was half camera and I was kind of.
So where was that?
It's a company which doesn't exist anymore called Decode.
Okay.
It was down in Tooting and
So what led you to Pixipixel then? What got you there?
So, I was working doing half camera and half lighting, and I just wanted more lighting, because lighting has always been kind of the direction I went since film school.
Yeah.
And I enjoy camera, but it's not my main passion. It's really lights is the thing. So applied to a few different roles. Applied to Pixie because they were looking for an assistant manager for their Steels branch in Hoxton. Obviously, it was also a lot closer to home, which was, a bonus. Applied, didn't hear back for a while, and then one day got a call saying, would you like to interview for a job? Went, met with Dave Oldroyd, and he offered me the job, and I started at Pixie in Hoxton. Stay there for a year.
At that point, there wasn't Tottenham Hale's one yet.
So at that point, Tottenham was just kind of there, but was not the big warehouse that you both know. So it was just kind of starting out, and I was working in Hoxton for just over a year, and then I was promoted to Edmonton, to the Edmonton branch, as it was getting more and more important. From assistant manager to operation manager, and we started.
Edmonton branch is different branch.
No, it's PCL. It's it's where
it's the same Hoxton.
It's it's where we were, and we were just I became operation manager. The original team was 4 people. Actually, 6, including myself, and when I left, just a bit above 12. So
it's really grown.
Yeah, it's really grown. Yeah, it was really cool to be part of it and just just expand. And we worked from doing one long form a year, doing multiples, and bigger commercial, bigger gaffers coming around, which was really cool to be part of, like, such a growth.
Yeah. So how do you feel Pixipixel has set you up to go into the industry? Like, where do you feel like your strong suits are? Maybe kind of weaknesses? Where do you want to improve? Those types of things.
It's a bit different because the last few months I was working at Pixie, I was operation manager. So my job was not having so much to do with the jobs going out, but more with, obviously I can't disclose too many things, but, stock accuracy, rotas, holidays, how we can help the team, how we can support them for them to have the job going out, and also, talking with transport, how the job gets there. So over the past few months, I was a bit less in touch with the flow, and that's what partially led to my decision, because I was missing playing with equipment. So in terms of the skill they gave me, I'm really, really grateful for the experience I had, because it's been a wild ride, but today was not the same, and one day I've been at the back of an 18-tonner with Edzus really late, just finishing until we can actually close the door. And, that was part of my job. And the next day I will be, doing something more admin work, which is also part of, a job on set, when sometimes you have to do, invoice, when you have to do your paperwork as a freelancer. So I would deal with, some of the invoices and all that admin work. So,
but you wouldn't deal with clients, would you?
Well, it depends. I had contact with clients, or when we were trying to show people.
Yeah, but I mean, like invoicing clients and stuff like that.
No,
you didn't deal with that stuff,
I did not deal with that.
I was just thinking, you said freelancer, right? That's the same as working as a freelancer, but there are some things where when you become freelancer, you have to do a bit other stuff, probably. You still, as an ops manager in a warehouse, you still have a lot of admin stuff to do, because you don't invoice client, but you have to, you have suppliers, you have freelancer, when you guys send an invoice as freelancer working, well, it comes to the management. You have to do rotas, be able to deal with a schedule, which, but just even as, as a lighting tech, it helps, because you have to plan for, that many jobs going out. So that's that many pieces of equipment which have to be moved. And, when we work together, or when we work on set, well, it helps you having a grasp of, that setup requires that many lights. So suddenly I know that it's,
etc.
So suddenly it's, we did something with Morgan recently for Pixie, actually. And, an 18K high on a long John Silver, to move it even by a meter is not the same as a 1K behind the window with a piece of gel. It's not the same light. So when we were working to move that 18K, then suddenly
it's a much bigger job, really.
Yeah, but then you have to take into account, it's like, all right, guys, I'm just gonna need 5 minutes. We're gonna lower it, we're gonna move it across, and then we're gonna put it back up. Just it's not
a specific order. You probably have to know to be able to execute that task.
Yeah, and when you work in a kitroom, you learn so much about the equipment and the way the equipment has to go out, and the way the truck has to be laid out to be efficient on set. Then those jobs also that kind of falls in together, because then you learn how to load the truck. Then when you work on a truck on set, you know how it's loaded, but you also know why.
So in terms of loading trucks, or to be honest, anything like that, is there any tips for kind of our listeners that might be kind of getting into the industry, and maybe it's like the first time loading a van, and they want to know, what maybe the order something goes in? Or is there any kind of specific tips and tricks you think maybe you wouldn't learn unless you did it wrong, and then you're going to be told?
But I think that's the thing. It's like I could explain to you how to lay out a truck, perfectly, an 18-tonner, to make it a workable truck. But until you actually physically move the stuff yourself, feel the weight of it, feel how to lay it out. And also every lorry, every van is a bit different. You don't get, you don't lay out wide 18-tonner truck with shelving the same way you lay out a small van. Every gaffer is different and likes different stuff. So I think it's more about a question of experience. Get your hands on it. So if you were a young lad going out on a job, when the boys, are out loading the truck, watch a couple of times, and then get on the truck, get with them, and say like, where do you want that, and quickly you're gonna pick up why or how these trucks are laid out the way they are, and suddenly some stuff are gonna make sense. Even myself, I've been doing this for like eight years now, so I've seen a lot of lorries, and at Pixie I've seen a lot of them. I still pick up stuff from people coming late, like, oh, do this that way, and you look at it and you're like, that's a great idea. Why did I not?
I guess everybody's, as you said, everybody's individual. Everybody has their own unique way how they like to lay them out, and everybody will come up with the new ideas how to set them up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I guess and I guess you can learn it only by practice. So either working in the kit room, or even better, working on a set and working with those people and seeing how they do it. Right?
Yeah, I know we are advised to work in kit room a lot, and I know you guys touched this on your second episode. I think working in a kit room is a necessary thing, but not for a long time.
So how long would you say is a good amount of time to spend in a kit room? Maybe.
Well, it depends. You have some companies, and your listener can search them, which do program, which are long program when they teach you, going through every step of the program, each department, and then you go out. Like you count in years, but if you want to pick up stuff, I would say, about 6 months at least.
If you are keen to yourself to learn everything, then probably it wouldn't take more than 6 months.
You wouldn't learn everything. You would learn the ground basics to be able to work. What I used to say is, when you're on set, people are going to ask you stuff, and it's a foreign language, and it's like they ask you stuff and they don't explain, and suddenly it's kind of like, can you give me can we have a M18 with a bit of 206 right there, and put a cistern and an arm in that corner, and then
if you don't know those terminologies, it can be very hard.
Yeah,
and you don't want to ask to be showing that you don't know, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so
to be honest, sometimes kind of when I was on some larger sets, kind of early on, I would just think, I've just got to figure it out. Or you turn around, you quickly Google search it. You're like, oh my god, I'm too embarrassed to ask what this is. But to be honest, when you do ask, they just quickly explain it, and with a smile on their face, and usually they really don't mind. Like the gaffer or the lighting technicians, as long as you've said, I'm not. As long as you don't say you are bigger than you are, then usually people are quite accepting.
There's no such thing as a silly question. You're better off always asking than just pretend and then you bring the wrong stuff, because one, you're gonna delay them and they're not gonna like that, and two, you look a bit silly if you ask. Even me sometimes I'm like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't really know what you mean right now. Plus, each gaffer has their own shortcut and slang word they use for stuff. So sometimes it's better to just say, so sorry, can you just tell me what exactly you want, and you'll be better off, and you go, you get it. Yeah, but working in the kit room, I think, is an essential stop you have to do to learn how all of that works, why it does what it does, and when you go out on set, you'll be able to, at least understand what people ask you and the attitude which is expected of you.
You mentioned the names, right? The slang. That every gaffer has its own slang in a sense. I kind of get your point, because there are those shotgun or American or these names which are not official, and it's sometimes funny when you kind of hear what they ask you to do. Bring me that shotgun and load it with the knuckle, and because I believe there are loads of jokes. Do you know a joke?
Go get a blonde from the van. It's like
yeah.
So how long ago did you quit kit room When was your point when you moved into freelance world? Another question to that: how is it to work for a kitroom and at the same time willing to be able to work on set? So how can you, like, is it possible to work in a kitroom and work on the set at the same time, from your experience?
So
Good question.
I'm gonna answer that last one first.
Yeah, probably.
No, it's not. Because working in a kit room is a full-time job. You've got a company in front of you, and I'm talking from, having worked in a couple of them, which the job is to provide for people the equipment. It's a very time pressure industry, and, unlike a few other industry, you can't say, oh, well, we finish tomorrow because, well, the job will be gone tomorrow. And you will have someone missing something, which probably they need to shoot. So someone working in a kit room is a part of a team, which is a really important part. And when you get people which are on holiday or sick, you can't just allow that gap in your team. You have to kind of backfill it. So someone working in a kit room and then working on set is always tricky. Ultimately, that's the aim, and that's what they want to be.
Yeah.
But from my experience, I think people are much better off, being forthcoming and saying I'm looking to go out on set and then get your time in either as a short-term contract and then go out, or as part-time freelancer or something.
But it's fair to say if you get a full-time contract at Kit House, you're probably not going to be sent out on set.
No, not at first. It's what I was saying to you. There is Kit House which actually have programs.
Yes.
There is a few of them, and they are like years programs. But while you're working for them. But the same way, when you work on a shoot, whichever the shoot, you wouldn't go out working on another one, or maybe you would if you are on a down day, but ultimately you're not going to call sick on one shoot to get on another one.
Yeah,
it's a one job, so
Yeah.
it takes a lot of time. It's very physically demanding. It's time pressured. So when you work in a kit house, you just work in a kit house. That's what you do.
Yes.
But you try to kind of intake as much knowledge as you can. People which have done that for years, why is this going with that? Why do we do this? How do we do that? And then on quiet days, try to get a sense of how all of that work and why is it the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's great advice.
Yeah, indeed.
And try to think of it in you pick up you always pick up stuff, but try to think of it as all right, one day someone is going to ask me something. I need to know.
You need to be ready.
Yeah,
you need to know what a kit requires. You need to know
Yeah.
how to spark certain lights. Just being able to know when you pull that light out that box, how to set it up.
Yeah, and also do I need any adapters? Do I need anything? Because
Yes,
let's say you're on set, the DP asks you for a flag. If you bring only the flag.
Yeah,
you can stand with it. He doesn't mind.
Yeah, he's gonna be here you go, put it there. No, you bring the flag, a stand, an arm, and knuckle, because that's how it's gonna go. But he's not gonna ask for the stand, the arm, and the knuckle. He's gonna ask for a flag. It's part
common
of
sense.
Yeah, it's part of your skill set as a spark to know that he might want to know an arm and a knuckle or a magic or something to hang it. But
Yes.
it's part. It doesn't want just the flag. To answer your first question about leaving kit room,
When was it?
that I left,
Yes.
just literally 1st of January.
So that's 2 months from now.
Yeah, those two. Yeah.
Okay.
To go.
So you've been freelance 2 months.
Yeah.
And worked in a kit room before for 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
How is it now?
Yeah. How's the move?
How is the
been?
movement?
Um,
How do you feel?
Still adjusting. No, I mean it's fine. It's what I say. It's. I'm going back to be a freelancer. I used to be a freelancer before going into kit room, and I've been a freelancer for years, and then I'm going back to be a freelancer. So it doesn't come out as a surprise what to expect from the freelancer life. The big move for me I was just missing going out. Really, it's like I was really grateful for all the opportunity I've been given. I'm still in good terms with Pixie, and I've good relationship with them, but I was just missing going out. I've loaded a couple of big jobs, and you see the truck going, and I was walking back to my desk, which is fine, but
you think what could there be more? What more could there be? You could be going with that van. You could be.
I could be. What I wanted to do, like moving lights, playing with lights, lighting something, creating. Which there's people which are born managers, and that's what they love to do. I really enjoy my time, but I just miss being on set. So. I really had long thought about it, and I just decided that new year 2020, it's a new decade. Why not? Why not give
good time to start?
Yeah, good time to start. So and now 2 months in, it's nice. January was a bit quiet, which is
it's always quiet, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always quiet. When you start, it's a bit.
It's even more. Yeah.
That bit of element of being a bit more scary. Then there was BSc, which was amazing. And February has been great.
In a BSc, have you met people that has helped you this year in your freelance career?
I have. Actually, I have. I met a few people.
You think it's worth for lighting technicians to go to BSc to meet people?
Yeah, it's definitely a worth. You have to be out there. You have to talk to people. You have to meet them. They have to see you. An email is nice. A phone call is nice. An handshake and having a word, someone they can put a face to your name, to your email. They can gauge you.
Of course.
It's so much better. I would reckon that throughout January I did a lot of application, and I had more fruitful result for those two at BSc than a month of emailing applications.
So how many people do you reckon you sent emails to?
In January? Gosh, no. I wrote to a lot of people, to studios. You just want people to know that you're out there and you're available.
Yeah. It's just a little wave. I'm here.
Yeah, hey, I'm here. I'm available.
Because you don't know if you contact enough people, somebody will be looking for a lighting technician within the next few days, and if you can't contact the right person at the right time, then they'll be like, "Oh, perfect. Yes, jump on."
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're not contacting them, then they're not getting in touch with you.
that makes also sense to keep in touch with the people you've been in touch before, to remind them of yourself.
Whenever I come back from a trip away and I'm thinking, okay, I need to make sure I've got work, I have a big list of people and I send everybody messages. Hope you're well. How's work going? Do you have any projects coming up?
Yeah.
And that, if you simply do that to the majority of the people that you've worked with before and you're close with, then you'll probably get something from that, and then it just gets you onto a bit of a roll.
I mean, one of the first job I had this year was actually just like that. I met someone at BSc. They recommended me. I reached out to that person, say, hey, I'm here. Let me know. Say, well, got a shoot in a couple of days. What are you doing? Free. Cool. Welcome. Yeah. And that was it. And it's literally like the whole process. Went on the shoot, had a great time. And that was it really. And today, actually, I reach out again to that person, say, hey, how you doing? Thanks again for the opportunity. If you have something or if you need anyone, I'm still here. I'll be happy to work with you again. And that's how you keep, building on it.
Touch, keep in the loop with everybody, I guess.
Yeah.
And so is there anything else from freelance world that you would like to share with us?
Well, I would say when you're a young lad starting, it's
lad or lass,
and also when you get out of school, don't oversell yourself. It's I'm going out as a spark. Depending on the production, I'm applying to be a trainee.
At the moment.
at the moment.
But you're applying to big projects, aren't you?
Yeah, but I want to be a trainee because
Even though you have worked in the industry for more than 8 years.
yeah, because I haven't worked in that setup in 4 years, and I haven't worked in such a big scale in full English, because in Paris I was working in English, but you know it was with Japanese or Asian or German people, so it's not like proper English film and TV industry. So yeah, I'm applying to be a trainee because I think it's a win-win for everyone, because he protects the gaffer or the baseball who's going to hire me, and maybe we haven't worked together, and he allows me to have a small but appreciable margin mistake, which then I can prove that actually I know a few things. I'm not just arrived.
It's sort of you're introducing each other,
Yeah.
right? You're meeting and seeing how you are, but at the same time, because you are a trainee, they can't expect from you to do everything. And know everything.
You're being modest in the fact that you come in, you're modest, they see that you can do more than what you've actually put yourself to, and then therefore they're more of a position to go, oh, we can pop you on as a spark, rather than being a spark, slightly disappointing them, and then being like, oh, why the fuck did I invite them on if they've
that's one big thing I think you need to let your audience to know, especially when they start, is literally do not oversell yourself. Do not oversell yourself. It's really important, and especially when you work in lighting, because lighting has that element where it's electricity. It's big light, big power. It can be impressive, and it's really important to at some point you be able to raise your hand and say, right there, I'm not sure, can you please help me? Oh, can you please?
That's the very important part.
Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, so what scale productions are you kind of applying to? Because I suppose we're talking about trainee role here. Yes, it's probably not an indie short film with like 7 people.
No, it's more about trying to get my foot in the industry, working for major producers, so like Netflix, Amazon.
Big production.
Big production. There's a few of them, and it's just trying to get my name out there to be able to be part of one of their adventures, which would be really, really amazing. But
there you go.
But
Netflix, come get Axel.
If you listen to this.
Exactly.
Then on other projects, I mean, Edzus and I just worked together, what was it, 2 weeks ago? And I was 2 weeks ago, yeah.
That's very exciting.
And actually we worked kind of together, but by opposite day, but we're gaffering.
You beat my project one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my
Edzus was
very
DP.
small DP.
You were DPing, I was the gaffer. Then.
Low budget student film. For the record.
Yeah, but it was all right, It's
it's nice to work together.
But I wouldn't apply to be a trainee on one of those, because my skill set goes.
Indeed. And that's where I think it's an interesting point you're talking about being modest, because we've talked about on other episodes that sometimes you do have to push what your capability is in the lower budget stuff, because otherwise you maybe don't get the jobs you deserve. You perhaps will stay stagnant if you don't have a small level of exaggeration to what you can do, because sometimes you've just got to push yourself. However, with the large productions, like you're saying, there's so much more at stake in terms of electricity and safety. It's hugely different, isn't it?
It is indeed, yeah. I guess that's why all those big productions will always ask you to be qualified whenever you want to get you. And I feel like that's another reason where trainee position is not that known in lighting department, is it? Like, I feel like whenever I see jobs, I never have seen advertised for trainee spark position.
I haven't either.
No.
Never, ever. Just sparks, gaffers, mostly gaffers, and then gaffers work with their own people, who most likely are already qualified and trained. And then the question is, where are those training positions?
I think that's where an expensive kitroom comes handy, because working in a kitroom, you meet people, you talk to people, you start by being a runner. You start by being a runner, you talk to people, you meet people, and then you might spend a day loading out a lighting equipment truck with a best boy and, you know, do a good impression, and then later he might need you as a trainee on a daily and be, well, I remember that kid, he was good working, so I might give him a call.
And that's the thing, isn't it? It's just you just have to work hard, you need to be efficient, and people pick you up, don't they?
Yeah.
And that's I think that's the thing, is if you have a good attitude. Me and Edzus were saying today actually that the industry almost cleans itself in the fact that if people are, you know, immature, if people aren't good at working, they just get filtered out. So what you end up getting is a load of really nice people at the top because they've made their way up.
Yeah.
Because, you know,
it's
people want to work
barely
with nice
you're barely
people.
going to see bad people.
No, you're going to see
Yeah.
you're going to see
Everybody's
nice people,
mostly
and
nice,
everybody's
yeah.
most of the people are understanding.
I
Really.
guess that's the good part of working on set.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, they all started one day, so, you know, they remember, like, you have to start somewhere, and, like, you know, it's just like the attitude thing is a really important, you know, I think is a really important part. Like, you know, if you want to start as being a lighting technician, don't be on your phone, honestly. Whenever I go on set, my phone is in my pocket, unless it rings like 5 times in a row, like as in like this is an emergency, I'm not looking at it.
Yeah.
There is cable on the floor that you can coil. There is like a rolling rack right there, which might need a bit of ordering or labeling. Your gaffer might need you in a minute. You know, if just be there, enjoy, look at the DP working. You've got
also learn
learn. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I've picked up so much by
just by looking,
Yeah.
observing.
yeah, like looking people, like, you know, the way I light up my nights, like, you know, when I'm gaffering and the DP asks me, how would you light up a night? I do it a bit differently because I work with a DP that did it that way, and I look at it and I thought, it's really cool.
And if you know those tips and tricks,
Yeah.
you get extra value in your being a lighting technician.
Yeah,
So-
and you also, you know, you learn your job. That's how you learn it. Like, you know, you're not gonna learn it watching Facebook. You know,
Exactly.
You're gonna learn by, you know, that gaffer is gonna do something, and, you know, you're gonna look at it and think,
And it's also very important to do that because you're on set, and being on set is already the situation. Like being on set itself is so valuable,
It
and,
is.
and it's
And
so unique experience that you can always go on Facebook in your home, but
And
because you
there's
are
so
there.
there's so many people that
Who don't
would
value, right?
give
Yeah.
anything to be on set.
Oh, you mean-
in that
yeah,
position,
exactly, yeah.
You know,
They
on a Netflix film.
Yeah.
Why the hell would you be on your phone when you could be enjoying
Yeah.
the thrill? It is a thrill, isn't it? Of being on set, and I think it's what we all kind of work for. Is that it's almost like a variation of an action sport. You know, it's just so high speed and
teamwork.
it's teamwork.
Team play.
Yeah, it's so engaging.
Yeah, but it's also, you know, if you pick up stuff, like on the last commercial I did, like, you know, at some point the gaffer asked me something, I move a light. Now I know that when I will see that TV spot or like wherever they're gonna distribute it, that light in that point, that was me. Well, I was following order, but
Yes.
I'm the one who put that light there.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's kind
It's
of like,
good
you know, there's a
feeling.
small sense of accomplishment.
Favorite
What's in your pocket?
So Axel, we told you to bring an item
Yep.
that meant a lot to you and was something that you really rely on set. What's your item?
Your favorite item?
My favorite item. So I brought you my belt, which I take on every job with me. It's kind of like my necessary tool pack, which follows me everywhere. And you asked me my favorite item. I would have to say that would be my hat. Actually, if I can have two, that would be also my Leatherman.
Leatherman.
Yeah.
I guess that's quite obvious one. So
Yeah.
I would ask more about why hat.
That hat, it's been with me, since the beginning, really. It was just a hat I had at home, and, like, you know, I just took it on my first set which was a really nice experience. It was in 2011. I'm actually still friends with the director and a few of the actors, even if I live in England, they're still in France. And so I thought it brought me luck, and I kept it this, and that thing just goes.
Since you ever your first steps, basically.
Yeah, so I just keep it with me.
And whenever you go on set, you always wear it.
Yeah, it's kind of like
it's kind of your lucky hat.
Yeah, it's kind of like lucky
You're like,
hat.
Now you wear your hat as a lighting technician. Okay, now take it down. Now you take a hat when you are kitroom manager.
Yeah, well,
live
it's
different lives.
it's kind of like it's, for example, that belt is really cool because it gives me at my hand everything I need in 2 minutes. So even if I'm high on a ladder and I don't know, I need a bit of tape to hold something, it's right there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to ask someone to pass me tape or whatever. It's right there. Same for my Leatherman. It's like I need a screwdriver. It's right there.
Gosh.
The hat is just part of it. It's just kind of like, I'm starting my day of work. So I'm arriving, I'm putting my safety boots, putting my belt and my hat. It's part of my uniform, if you like.
Go on, if you show us what Leatherman you've got then.
Oh my God, that's such a old one. It's a Leatherman Charge. So basically on that thing I've got about, can't remember now, is it 18 or 20 tools? So you got a knife, a couple of saw, some pliers, a cutter, a can opener, a tin opener.
Tin and can opener.
For
what? For drinking beer on set?
Celebration.
Celebration after
just
rap.
Or whatever. Or can be a gel cutter, to be honest. You got some screwdriver.
What else have you got on there then?
In the belt or
on the belt?
On the belt.
As I said to Edzus, I'm actually in the process of upgrading it, but I'm gonna have obviously my gloves, some gaffer tape. I'm gonna have a couple of sharp cutters. One thing which I'm gonna give you a bit of advice, and not a lot of people, these front lights.
It's really good.
It's really good because you don't need your hands. You don't need your hands.
Yeah.
It will basically never run out of battery, or if you do, you just change them. And I see a lot of people just, using their phone as their torchlight, and I really don't like it because, your phone's gonna run out of battery, and you're also losing a hand when I'm putting this on my head.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you need to go into a box of distro and you need to
shuffle
grab
through
a cable, you can see things in the dark, and it's invaluable, really.
Yeah.
It's an invaluable tool.
I've got a big flat tool, and then I've got a few pens, some Allen keys. Just everything I'm gonna need during my day, basically. Anything I can just, it's on me, it's with me. Don't need to go anywhere.
So how come you wouldn't put a bag on a belt you already have? Because I've noticed some people like to put their pouch on the belt that they've got on their trousers, and some other people have bigger, thicker belts. Kind of tell our listeners about that.
I mean, I think there's a bit of ritual in it. It's kind of like, in the morning I'm arriving on set, I'm grabbing my coffee, I'm arriving 15 minutes early. Always be 15 minutes early. I'm grabbing my coffee, and then, putting my belt on, putting my hat, and I'm ready to work. And also, a few of those things you don't want to go on the tube with it, you don't want to be seen on the tube with, a big pouch. And also, if you go out to home by car, you have to untie your belt, remove your pouch.
Of course, so you can just whip it on and off quickly.
Yeah, it's just a clip. And also if you have to go in a tight space, again, clip off.
Because I know some gaffers that have got thick belts, maybe 4 inches, just because belts, they've just accumulated so many different things that they want.
Yeah.
That it's so heavy, they need to have something which is going to sit really on their hips.
Yeah, you might have that, but this is like, this is a kind of a charge belt, like, it's kind of like action belt.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, maybe if it gets too heavy, I'll change it. But the important thing is like, it's really with this on me, I can literally go on a 10-hour day without going back to my bag.
And do you have any suggestions where to get stuff like that? Where did you get yours?
Well,
Good question.
I mean, you can see the brand. There's a few brands which are around. They are really good. Quite then a bit expensive, but I think it's a good investment.
Mm-hmm. What's this brand?
Setwear.
Setwear. Okay.
Yeah.
So you just buy it online, Setwear?
Yeah, you buy it online, or in you've got the Pana store as well. You got the Ari shop online. You got a few places where you can buy those. And then if you want to be a lighting technician, I guess you just you should just get one. If you want a cheaper version, usually army stuff or army or security stuff have some similarities. And yeah, just get one and start to
use it.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys both.
What is so specific about this particular bag that maybe stands out from many others? What works for film for
Or
you?
why you enjoy it, really?
Yeah.
I mean, well, it's just like it's kind of like it's got a big pouch. It's got a couple of pouch inside. You can see inside there is I've got.
Point it towards the camera for us. Nice.
I've got a few pens. I can put a torch here. I can put another torch here. I've got pouch for pens. There's a pouch for the screwdriver. I mean, as I said, I'm currently redoing it. I'm rebuying some more tools. So that's why there's not a lot of it.
You're gonna have a new bag?
No, that's the only thing which is not going to change. But
Okay.
So what sort of new tools are you going to be buying?
Well, a Volt pen, multi-tool from another company.
Which company?
Dirty Rigger.
Dirty Rigger multi-tool.
Yeah.
Why that? Why is
it's just really practical.
Leatherman doesn't have some certain tools that they have on the Dirty Rigger multi-tool?
It's just because it's one hand and you get 12 tools out of it. It's really quick and easy. It's just something I used to have back in France from a French brand, and I used to really enjoy it. So really practical. A set of Allen keys, a new pair of gloves because mine start to be really, really tired now.
What I'm a bit concerned when I'm getting my tools with me is the weight.
Yes.
There is always the thing you can always put too much stuff. Aren't you afraid of putting too much in it?
Well, I guess that will come with experience. So on my last job, I was missing a few things because I didn't have time to redo the belt as I wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I was working toward a light, I was thinking, but if that happens, I don't actually have a correct tool on me.
Mm-hmm.
So with experience, I've done my belt, which is good mix between it's going to be a bit
It's the
heavy.
stuff you feel is relevant
Yeah.
and useful.
And also, you can still, for example, I see people working around with Allen key set. You actually don't need a set. There's probably 3-4 that you actually need.
Mm-hmm.
With experience, you know which one, and then the set can sit in your bag.
Mm-hmm.
You still have it in case for the odd time you might need it, but you're only carrying the 3 or 4 Allen keys that you actually need.
Yeah,
But that will come from experience.
Yeah, I've met some more experienced lighting technicians that specifically because of their back problems and because of handling those heavy tools, they sort of have gone and stripped it all the way down to just Leatherman.
Yes.
Or, just having just a single knife even. I know a gaffer who carries only a knife and that's it. Because it's just too heavy for
and
him.
It's personal preference.
It is.
As long as you're not caught off guard, like for example, a knife's not going to work as a head torch. You're going to need a head torch every once in a while. But if you're not going to be shooting at night, why bring a head torch type of thing? But then again, the way I like to work is I've got everything that's just in one pouch. I like to be able to take that.
Yeah, and then put the pouch
always,
in the unit.
because otherwise
base.
I'll forget maybe I forget the head torch if I
Yeah.
try and be too efficient. So sometimes it's just a case of just bring everything you need. Maybe you can just throw the head torch into your bag, but you've got it on set. It's just about having a pouch you can throw in your bag, go out the door, you're ready to go.
Also, like, regarding the head torch, I think that head torch hasn't served me on my 5 shoot, and then the last shoot I've done was in a really dark studio. And suddenly the head torch makes sense.
Mhm.
Yes, of course.
And it's why I'm not going to take it out, because there's always going to be that one time where I need it.
Yeah.
It might say 10 shoot
Exactly.
at the bottom of my bag, but then there's going to be that one where you actually need it. And if that's the one you're not going to have it, then you're gonna
feel really silly, aren't you?
yeah, you're gonna feel really silly, and you're gonna be slower. It's like, and it's 20 grams you have to carry. So there's actually a few good books that you can actually read on the subject, not of a torch, but like just lighting technician equipment. I wouldn't recommend to carry the whole world with you, but definitely having tools and having the rest in your bag ready to work, and then you're not gonna dismantle a light high up in the air. You're not gonna do
And
that.
which books would there be then?
Yeah, what would you recommend?
You've got the excellent lighting technician handbook, which is great. I mean,
Nice,
it's
brilliant.
it's a Bible, really. There's everything in there. There is, I think, honestly, if you go on the ASC store, they got a few good reference, but then, obviously they're more toward camera, but they also got a good lot of reference on, the progress of LEDs and,
You would say lighting technician's handbook
Yeah.
is the way to go for every
Yeah,
lighting
I
if
technician.
you're starting,
Yeah.
it's like you have to read it, because it's got
It's got everything in it, hasn't it?
it's got
If you
everything.
read it from front to back, then you've done a fair bit.
Yeah,
Once you've done that, you've had 6 months in a kit room.
you can start to advertise
Yeah,
yourself
just-
as a trainee.
There
Alright,
you go.
I think that's on that note, on a
Yeah.
training note, I think we should finish this.
Yeah.
I think we had a lot of good information here. We'll definitely put some links on description of the episode, so you can see and follow of everything that
We're doing.
and what we
Axel
mentioned,
will
and
put
docs
his
and
social
everything.
media.
Tools where you can buy them, everything. We'll put all that there. And thank you for watching.
Yeah, thank you.
Share it, and see you next time.
See you next time. The Tungsten Show.